All right, so here is the 1982 Jeep CJ5 that I just picked up. Got it here in town, or actually just kind of right outside of town, about 10 miles from where I live. Picked it up for a few $1,000s. It was kind of a deal I couldn't pass up. But you can see it's not in the best shape, but it's for the most part an honest Jeep. It runs like a champ of all the vehicles that I've just kind of quickly turned over. This is the only one that my wife was able to drop me off at, and she could head on her way. I drove home, had no issues with it. But one of the reasons that this Jeep was discounted compared to most others, and forgive me here, is that bad boy. The 4-cylinder. A lot of folks aren't too crazy about this engine. I've driven it a little bit. I drove it here, and I've got to say I've got a CJ7 with a 304 V8 in it, and while this 4-cylinder is nothing like the AMC V8s, it does run really well. And I think most people would be tempted to do the very popular LS swap, pull that out. However, that opens up a big can of worms, and that's not really what I'm after. I don't want to own this Jeep forever as much as I like it. And when you look at things like under the front there, it's a Dana 35. That's not gonna hold up with an LS engine. That wouldn't be too happy under an old AMC engine. But in the back, I'm pretty certain that's just a little AMC 20. I don't think that would make it very long behind a big V8 swap. So I think I'm gonna leave the powertrain just as it is on this, and continue my walk around here and come up with a plan. Do I paint it? Do I just wet sand it and polish it out and try to see what's in here? Clearly the wheels need to be addressed. Little wagon wheels somebody has spray painted black, so those have to be cleaned up or replaced. Got these black side steps on it. I don't hate them really, but this Jeep's just got a 4-cylinder in it. I think that anything that adds weight is probably shouldn't be there unless it's necessary, and those not only add weight, they also bring the height of the Jeep down a little bit. So probably going to lose those black side steps, maybe save them for another project, or throw them online and sell them to somebody who wants them. That diamond plate along there, I don't hate that. I don't normally like to buy Jeeps that have diamond plate on them because it's typically somebody covering something up, and I do have to find out if that's the case here. So I'll unscrew that, take a look, and see if I've got some metal work to do behind it. And I'm prepared for some metal work on this Jeep. I bought it pretty damn cheap. One thing that I identified very quickly is the windshield frame. Pretty common on these for the windshield frame to need to be replaced. That's a cheap fix, a quick fix. Yeah, a few bolts and swapping out the wiper system and the glass, and you're good to go. This one also, I can see this is all rotten in here. So rain is gonna get in there, run onto the inside, rainwater sits in the floor, then you got rust holes in your floor. But let's check out the inside. That's an 11-inch steering wheel, and I know why they did it. It's just a little CJ5. If you've got a bigger owner, it's hard to get into one of these things if you've got a regular old 13-inch or so steering wheel. So somebody put that little sucker in there, but I'm going to lose it. It drives fine with that steering wheel, but it just doesn't really fit. There's no shift knob at all, so that's got to be fixed. Those are all ticky-tack things, but that light coming up through the floor shouldn't be there. That's got to be addressed around the dimmer switch. There's light coming up through there too, so I'll have to pull that dimmer switch out, clean up this metal. There's also, I can see a patch here. I'll remove that, take a look at what's underneath, and get that repair done right. So this is actually my first time really kind of snooping around on the inside of this thing. It's got a rifle rack in it. Very macho, but not really my style. That's probably gonna go again back to the unnecessary weight thing. Here in this floor, we've got some holes that shouldn't be there either. Obviously, those perfect circle holes are supposed to be there. Those are drain holes, and you want those. We definitely don't fill those, but those holes in the floor that shouldn't be there, they're real obvious. Once you start cleaning stuff up, you just decide how much of the metal you want to cut out. You want to make sure that you're not, sandwiching metal together where moisture could somehow get trapped between. So you want to fix the rust and not just put it off. So this Jeep, let's see, it does have like a little fold and tumble seat here. So seats are in pretty good shape. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'll be keeping these, and I'll fold this. All right, moving that seat. I could see this crate in the back full of all kinds of stuff that I haven't gone through yet. Clearly a car cover in here. Let's pull this out real quick. What else is in there? Okay, looks like stuff that'll take a while to go through. I'm not going to bore anymore with that. That looks like a defrost vent, and I could peek over the other side and see that there's a box in the passenger seat, and I could see the defrost hose there too. So let's go back around that side. Just take a quick peek. All right, another box of goodies, but underneath the box, this is a pretty good looking seat. Simple little seat for a CJ5. I dig it. I am noticing that there are snaps in the floor. Some in the front, some here behind the seats, and I'm thinking that maybe the carpet used to snap in place, and I think that's kind of cool. I may see if I can get some carpet once I get all the metal fixed that will also snap in there. So if I could go back to the same style, that'd be great. So while I'm looking, kind of take an inventory of things that I'll need to replace. I don't want to buy parts too soon because it's really annoying when you've got a lot of new parts in your way and the Jeep isn't ready for them. So that transfer case boot actually looks pretty good. The gear shift boot, that needs to be replaced, so I'll order that. Need to get some kind of shift knob. I can see that the end of the shift lever here has been broken off, so there's no threads there. So I'll either have to rethread that myself or just buy a larger diameter knob with a set screw and put that in place. Nobody would mind something like that. The dash is pretty clean. So as I have looked through this Jeep, gotta tell you, I was thinking that I was going to be painting this Jeep black, getting it fixed pretty perfect on the body and going with black. I think black looks great on a little CJ5, but when you paint a Jeep, you've got to paint it outside and in. So I don't think that the bang for the buck is there. A lot of people really like white vehicles, and I do plan to sell this one. So I'll be kind of fixing it up. But not, I don't want to go do a bunch of stuff that's totally unnecessary. And looking at the white paint on the roll bar, on the dash, and the thought of removing the dash and all of the gauges, that seems like it's probably an unnecessary task. Especially, I did peek up under here earlier. The wiring is actually in really good shape. I saw that they put a new Speedway 12-circuit wire harness in it, so all of this wiring is new, and I think that just repainting or disassembling everything for the sake of a color change is probably not the wisest use of time, because as I look through this thing, I'm thinking I can decide, do I wash it, remove those side steps, take off the top, maybe polish it out, wet sand around those headlights, and get rid of the black spray paint. That was done for hunting, clearly with a rifle rack inside, the black around the headlights. Somebody used this as a hunting vehicle. sure before they went hunting, they pulled off that stainless bumper and those mirrors, and that just kept it from reflecting any light. So, but that's got to go. People don't want to drive around town with two black eyes like that. So, I can again quickly wash it, maybe wet sand and polish the whole thing, but definitely wet sand the area around these headlights, clean that up. That's got to be adjusted. Replace some hood tie downs. I could probably fix this thing up for just a few $100. Repainting wheels and polish, and the fact that I've got it inside the loop in Houston now, instead of it being 10 miles from here, that adds value alone. So I could probably double my money on it, just by doing a little simple cleanup, put some elbow grease in it, and maybe 2 days of work. Or I can go a little further, but for now, I think I'm just going to focus on a bit of a cleanup, maybe get a windshield frame ordered, and maybe take it a little further than just a cleanup. It may even get a fresh coat of white paint. But anyway, folks, this is it, and stay tuned. We'll be back with a specific task and doing something cool. Thanks for tuning in.